goal is to come out with zero money at the end and be as competitive as you possibly can be. I kind of planted a seed. He actually test rode the bike years prior. It just never worked out. More difference I've seen in Aaron than ASAP. He seems like he's got a weight taken off his shoulders. He only races so he can sell stuff. Like, if you want to make money, don't start a race team. We're going to try a 32-inch front wheel on the downhill bike.
Neko Mulally, welcome back to the Downtime Podcast, mate. It's been a little while since you've actually come on for anything other than the World Cup post-race. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Just got done with a day on the hill here at Hardline Tasmania. I think we're getting pretty good at doing these podcasts after a long day's work. It seems like we do all the post-race ones like that. So why not do it the same way?
Yeah, continue the tradition. And let's go straight in. You recently broke the internet by bringing Aaron Gwyn onto the team. Just give us some background into like how that came together and what it took to bring it together.
Yeah, Aaron's been a teammate and friend of mine for the past 15 years. I think I did 8 seasons as his teammate on Trek World Racing, YT Mob, and Intense Factory Racing. So I've known Aaron and like I feel like I'm one of his best friends and have been pretty close to him over the years, and shared hotel rooms with him for many of those World Cup wins that he's got, and I just know him inside and out. So I guess I kept in touch with him, and he saw what I was doing with frameworks. I started this project. I left his team in 2021. I raced for his team, which was Intense Factory Racing. I told him towards the end of the season that I was going to do my own thing next year, and it was kind of a good fit because the way that he was going with the team, it was like, yeah, a good time for me to exit that, and then started this. And he saw the success that I've grown into with frameworks and always thought it was cool. He actually test rode the bike even years prior, and we discussed this. It just never worked out from like a financial and sponsor standpoint. As you can imagine, signing a rider of Aaron's caliber, like the idea is great and we both agree, but there's a ton of small details that actually make it pretty hard to get across the line.
Yeah.
So coming into 2026, I kind of planted a seed. I think it was after national champs. I remember talking to Aaron at the finish line, and he didn't do great in the race. And I just kind of asked him, like, how's it going running your own team? Do you think you have every opportunity that you need? And at that point he was like, yeah, I really like doing it. I like being in control of it. I think there's like a few small details that I'm lacking that some of the competition has. One being like the last little bit of bike development. Mm-hmm. He was like, yeah, I think my bike is good, but I'm the only one doing the development, so I have no reference. I don't have other people pushing that like last little bit of fine tuning to get the setup right. And then having a team around him to support with lines, having a teammate to push him and compare. Mm-hmm. So those little 2 details were like, once you're at the level he's at, the difference between getting, like, he had a couple top 20s last year. The difference between that and the top 5 is like 1 or 2%. So those couple things that we could offer were that 1 or 2%. So I left that conversation, and a couple weeks later he gave me a call and I was like, so I was thinking, like, is there any way that maybe we could work together? And I was, of course, like, yeah, I love the idea. I can work on it. I can obviously have to make some phone calls and see if we can raise the budget to do it. Yeah. And understood from him what relationships he needed or commitments he had that he needed to continue with, and what fit with the relationships that we had. Uh-huh. And yeah, that was really the hard part, to like come up with the amount of money we needed to pay him, which all came from our sponsors, like largely TRP. TRP is now our title sponsor. We're Frameworks Racing TRP this year. And they had been a longtime partner of Aaron's for the past, I think it was 2016, he brought TRP on and won the first race he ever entered with their components.
It's pretty good.
Those guys are super loyal to him, and like he's put them on the map. So of course they are.
Yeah.
So they basically like allocated the budget that they had towards Aaron's team and our team, because we were also supported by TRP for a while. And that was a big help towards coming up the finances we needed to get Aaron on board.
Yeah.
And then just working through like the details of the helmet sponsor, the gear sponsor, like a guy like Aaron has relationships that he's been working with for a long time. They contribute to his total paycheck at the end of the day. And he needs to meet the number that he needs to get to. So it was just a bit of like negotiation to make it all work and make sure everybody was happy. But we got, like I said, from the beginning, it was the idea that we all agreed with. We just had to get it through. And once it was all clear, I gave him a bike I gave him the bike in Mount St. Anne. He brought it home with him.
Yeah.
We didn't have all the details done then, but I was like, here's the bike. At least you can ride it. And he started riding it, felt really comfortable right away. He said just knowing that the setup we gave him was the one that Asa won the race and set the fastest time of the day with that weekend, gave him the confidence that like, all right, well, if Asa can do it, and at least I know I have the bike to do it. So that gave him some peace of mind, and he was like right away comfortable with our total package. Not like, I think our frame is great, but it's like the total package of all our sponsors that give us the performance of the bike. And he was super comfortable with it. So good start, and we've just grown from there since he's been able to ride more and work together more.
Was it hard to keep it under wraps? Because I think you managed, not many teams managed to keep a surprise, right? The Vital Forum's pretty good at working out what's going on. And I think you managed to surprise the vast majority of the mountain bike world with that one. Yeah,
I mean, I don't feel like I went too far to my way to keep it under wraps. Like I obviously had to call 15 sponsors and tell them what I was planning to do and raise the budget to do it. So those brands all knew it. I had pitch decks with Aaron's name in it, and those can get passed around the industry. And obviously asked to keep it confidential, but normally the rumors spread pretty fast. And then Aaron didn't really ride the bike in public. Like at his bike park, he can ride on Tuesdays and Wednesdays when it's closed. So people didn't see him riding the bike, which was helpful. The week before we did the launch, we filmed that whole video at Rock Creek on a Friday when the bike park was open. So all of our locals and customers saw Aaron with the bike, and they all stopped and looked, and a bunch of them were like, oh, that's super cool. And nobody even said anything for, like it took us at least 10 days to get all that footage edited to make the launch. And they all knew about it. And it would be super easy for somebody to take a picture with the phone. They were all cool about it. That's so cool that you've got that community that kind of get it. You know what I mean? They're like, we've got the inside liner, but we know that we should keep that quiet. Yeah, I mean, I guess it would take some balls to like walk up and snap a picture of something that people do shouldn't. But everybody was just like happy to know it, but didn't say anything. Nothing ended up on the Vital Forum. So I think it definitely makes the impact greater when it's a surprise. And I think that our impact was great when we launched with Aaron. You definitely had impact. And if you look at the internet and the forums, a lot of people have written Aaron off, which I don't personally agree with. But what's your take on that? I think just knowing Aaron and like the amount that he was able to put into his own racing over the past couple of years, with owning the bike park, running his own team, and maybe like he could have done more, but I know that he didn't, and he's got a lot more potential than he actually put into those results, and was still like several times in the past 2 years top 20 or top 10. So whether it's like a quali or a final, but the results, like percentage wise, as I said, are not far off. So I believe that, one, the equipment package we can offer, two, the team support package, and then three, like the motivation to know that you've got everything you need, will give him that motivation to put the work in on his side. And I think those results could quickly go from like 17th, 15th to 10 places higher, maybe even more. Like the margins are so tight that if you get it right and you get a tiny bit of luck with guys you're racing against, like you could find yourself close to the front.
Yeah.
So I hope so. And above and beyond his own results, I think being a teammate to the younger riders that we have on the team and offering that experience is going to add to the greater good. That was a big part for me. Like Aaron was a fit on many levels because he can offer a level of professionalism and mentorship to ASA that I think will take ASA to the next level. So it's like looking at the team as a whole and how Aaron fits into that and where we want to be in the future. And like all of our commitment is with ASA, and we wouldn't want to expand the team in a way that didn't help him or that in any way took away from the resources we could offer him. We only wanted to do it in a way that was going to create a better situation for ASA. And I think Aaron like is in a spot in his career where like ASA and Aaron have what each other need if they would work together. Like if they can take it from each other, Aaron has the experience, he's wise, he's super professional, and ASA has this young energy, this raw speed. So that can help Aaron with his own results, and also Aaron can pass this legacy on that he's created. He has the opportunity to like give everything he knows to a kid that he is happy to share it with, and they can really, I think, both help each other.
Yeah, and they clearly knew each other a little bit from the US scene beforehand, but like how's it going after a few team camps and a few days here? Like how's that relationship building between the two of them?
It's going great, like as good as you can hope. I think like more difference I've seen in Aaron than Asa actually.
Okay.
Like Aaron's acting like younger, more carefree, like just he seems like he's got a weight taken off his shoulders, and it's really cool to see that for him. And I do think that just like the respect that Aaron commands coming into our team, like will raise everyone, not just Asa. Like the mechanics like think that Aaron's the best to ever do it. Like, I mean, I know Aaron so well that like I don't see that just because I'm one of his close friends. He's just a normal person for me. But Aaron does have that like star factor.
He commands respect for sure. There's definitely he has an air about him where you're like, you feel like he deserves to be treated well and looked after. I can't really explain it, but there's something there, isn't there, with people that have achieved at that level. I feel like the same with Greg Minnaar.
Yeah. And it makes like when I'm trying to run a race program, everybody that works for it will show up on that put their best effort in when they have the presence of a guy like that. So I think it overall helps us on many levels. And yeah, it's been an awesome fit so far.
Nice. And they're in the same group for practice as well now that Ace is stepping up into elite. So we've seen the first Aaron Acer trains here today, and that's already pretty exciting. I'm stoked to watch that at World Cups this year.
Yeah, for sure. Like here at Hardline, I was like, hey, so if you can just like wait for Aaron a little bit today and like show him through the track, that's going to pay off for you all year. And I think for the whole season ahead, like Aaron's in a spot where he's not going to hide anything. If he's got a line, if they got a GoPro, they're studying together, they're going to try to help each other. They have nothing to hide from each other. And there's not many teammates that you can get that are like, there's only so many spots inside the top 10. And obviously both of them want to be there. They see themselves there. I think they have the potential to be there. There's not many guys that would not hide an advantage from somebody that is another guy they got to beat.
Yeah.
And I think that Aaron and Asa, like they definitely won't do that. They know their situation within the team and they want to help each other. So yeah, I'm stoked the dynamic.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting, man.
Do you love mountain biking? Do you enjoy listening to the podcast and following the gravity race scene? Do you also have a genuine passion for social media? Well, then we might have the perfect role for you. We're looking to bring a part-time social media producer into the Downtime podcast team, working 1 day per week. Downtime is growing and we're sitting on a huge amount of great content, episodes, clips, conversations and opinions. This role is about helping that content reach more people in smarter ways. The job has two key parts. First, creating and posting social assets from the podcast, pulling clips, shaping content for different platforms and publishing it consistently with an understanding of what actually works. Secondly, analysing performance, looking at the mountain bike social media landscape, spotting patterns, understanding what's hitting and why, and using that insight to help improve our impact over time. This isn't about jumping on every trend, it's about understanding mountain bike media, the gravity race scene, and how audiences engage with content. It's a paid role, 1 day per week, and ideal for someone who enjoys both the creative and analytical sides of social media. Also, you can be based anywhere in the world. To apply, just email chris@downtimepodcast.com with your CV and a few words about why you think you'd be a good fit for the role. Applications close on the 22nd of February 2026. We're looking forward to hearing from you.
What do you feel you need to do in order to help Asa? It's a big move, right? Like, as fast as he is and as talented as he is, it's a change coming from juniors into elites. Like, what's your plan to give him the best chance to perform? Obviously, having Aaron there's a big part of that, but what else will you be doing from your side?
I think just like the balance of like slowly introducing a more structured program, more professionalism, treating it more like a job with not overloading him with too much stuff at one time. Like, he's still like that young and carefree, and harnessing that energy with just upping the prep that you can do on the front end and prioritizing your training, bike setup, all the things that you can do in advance to be ready for a race. Just taking that a little more seriously and offering him the opportunity to do it without forcing him to do it, but kind of make it his own idea to take that stuff a little more seriously.
Yeah.
Like, we went to the Red Bull Athlete Performance Center as a team, and they did a full diagnostic on each rider, and he got a report. And just seeing, like, I don't think for him specifically, like, he doesn't need to be stronger. He doesn't need to be fitter. He needs to correct his weakest links.
Okay.
Like, if he's got a nagging injury, something that has bothered him through the season, if he can fix those, his weakest parts, his strongest parts are more than strong enough. So just working on that stuff and just having the discipline to pay attention to those small details.
Yeah.
And then working on the bike setup too, instead of just going ripping laps and having fun, which is great. Like, you don't want to discourage that, but then also paying attention to how you can be more prepared for each race with having the bike setup you're comfortable with.
So just ticking a few more boxes, really. Like, he's gone through juniors on talent and enjoyment and fun, and that maybe gets you some of the way in elite, but like, everyone's so good and it's so competitive that ticking a few more boxes on the list is going to help him. Is that kind of how you look at it?
Yeah, and it's, like I said, not forcing him all to do it all at once, but providing him the opportunity to do it, making him own it. Like, I think we can give him a really good bike and component package, but none of us can ride it like he can. None of us can put it in the situations that he will be in calmly enough to feel what's going on. Like, if I was riding that fast, I'd be so puckered. So for him to put those hours in of testing, try a few different things, be able to give clear feedback is just something that he's going to have to grow into. And we had, like, Ancho, our head mechanic, Asa's mechanic, knows so much with the bike setup and is really motivated to work, but Asa's got to be the one to put in that work. Yeah. So we have the opportunity there, but just like you said, checking those boxes.
Yeah, exciting stuff, mate. I can't wait to see how it pans out. And you've continually elevated this team year on year in a time when the bike industry's been pretty hard to navigate for most people involved. How has it been this season, like, A, raising the finance to bring Aaron on board, but B, just kind of continuing to elevate and bring more budget in? Has it been a challenge, and how have you approached that, and who's come on board to help out?
Yeah, I mean, every year we've gained support, which is awesome. We have amazing sponsors, and the way that I run my team, like, the entire budget that we have to spend on the year comes from all of our component sponsors. As far as, like, Frameworks Bicycles goes, I'm starting that as well, trying to get that business off the ground. But at the moment, it's costing me money to start that, not creating enough profit to invest back into the team.
Yeah.
So it's every sponsor that you see listed as a team partner that gives us the total budget for the year. And sure, it's like with all that support, it's been great. We've delivered above and beyond, I believe, each year. So going back and asking for more to do more has oftentimes been not super challenging. Like they see the value in it. But I feel like with what my goals are and what I see we can achieve, it's always like something that's just out of reach. And I guess that's like the racer in me. It's like instead of creating a budget and what our roster and plan is for the year that's giving us a little buffer, it's like, well, if we just do just a little bit more, then we'll elevate ourselves so much that we'll be at the next level. So yeah, I'm pretty, I guess, aggressive with that, but I believe that it'll pay off in the long run. And like, you can see the team that we have now. I'm really proud of it. I think it's super strong, and I think it's going to get us to a spot quicker where we'll be further ahead than if we were more conservative with it.
Yeah.
And I just love it so like I love racing so much. Like we have the opportunity to do this. I envision how it's all going to work, and I really want to do it. So
yeah,
I think if you were just looking at it from a business standpoint, probably never get involved in mountain biking.
Yeah, and you've got some new sponsors this year, and you've been quite good at finding sponsors that are maybe a little bit out of the usual list of brands that we see at World Cups, right?
Yeah. Like I said, like a huge thank you to all our sponsors, and we wouldn't be able to put this team together without their financial support and also performance support. Like it's one thing to just go out and say like, oh, we need to raise this budget. We'll run anything, whatever's going to pay us. But to put together a bike that I believe is the best performance package and balance that with needing the money is really hard, because for a lot of the sponsors we work with, like you go back to them, we're like, we're going to use your stuff. We fully believe in your stuff. And then we need this budget to make the team work. It's not like I'll use whichever X component is going to pay us the most.
Yeah.
It's like, no, we're committed to all these, and we just try to get like the budget that we need to do the job, really. And they've all come through and supported it, which is awesome. So yeah, I just wanted a quick go through and like mention like each partner and why we chose to work with them. And the first being TRP. They're our title sponsor for the year. And as I mentioned, like they came on and made this Aaron joining the team possible. And we've been so stoked with their brakes. The brakes have been amazing over the past 2 years. They're like the real reason that we went to TRP in the first place. And the drivetrain has come such a long way. And I think the 7-speed drivetrain, like it's really impressive how well it works. And jumping on it, I think 2 years ago, we went full TRP.
Yeah.
And from when I had ridden it back in the intense days to now, I was like, wow, this thing is amazing. So yeah, with TRP's support, like we're really able to put this roster forward. And then our title sponsor from 2025, and it's still the next biggest partner on our team, is Fifth Axis and 5Dev. And they make the cranks, chain rings we run. They CNC everything in San Diego, and they've been a huge supporter to get us to the point where we're at now. They have some cool stuff they've worked on, like the heavy spindle that they just launched, which is solid steel spindle. So it's cool that they're one of the biggest CNC work holding manufacturers in the company. So they make all the vices and anvils that you would mount to your CNC machine. And they have 3 warehouses full of CNC capability. So when we asked for something like, hey, we were thinking about making the spindle solid steel to mount the weight to the bike low and center, they can do that for us really quick, which is super cool to have. One that we brought on last year, it's Loctite.
Yeah, that was another little random one.
It was cool.
Yeah.
We tried making a bonded frame. I started Frameworks to do experiments with bikes, and construction was like a big category of that. So I like made the steel frame in the past, which was super cool with Kotick, and then doing the bonded construction was something I wanted to try out. And I got that relationship just by reaching out to Loctite to ask which glues to use. Like, which adhesive we're bonding aluminum to aluminum would you suggest? Here's what our project looks like. And the engineer that we asked about it said, yo, that's really cool what you guys are doing. Like, can I put you in touch with the marketing team as well? Maybe they'd want to like share this. and just, we made the bike first, sent them all the videos and images that we made.
Yeah.
And then they wanted to support more in the future. So it was like a really organic growth through that relationship.
Nice.
And we use the Loctite bonded frames for all our prototyping. If we want to change something quick, we can make those bikes. We have a really cool lineup of test videos that we're going to do this year. I have a full bonded frame that has adjustable pivot points. We're going to try a 32-inch front wheel on the downhill bike.
I was going to ask you about
bonded construction. And then we made a rear end that was a single pivot design instead of the horse link design. And we used the bonded construction to do all that.
Sweet.
So, their adhesives make these experiments and bike development possible with really quick turnaround on making prototypes with the glued frame design. So that's a cool partnership, and they contribute a ton to the team. Our 2 bike parks, Canoga and Rock Creek, they've kicked some money into the team each year and are our home training grounds. So that's super nice. Conti tires, we've been running for the past 3 years. Like ASA says, they're truly an advantage. And that's something where it's like, we go to Conti and we're like, hey, the riders are demanding we use these tires. Like we're not going to use anything else. We see this partnership as a performance advantage, which kind of takes your negotiating away. They're like, okay, we're going to use them anyway. But they have been so supportive and like contributed and stepped up every year to help what we're doing with our team. And then WD-40 as well, as we use their bike line of cleaning supplies and lubricants, and have year over year stepped up what they're doing with us. And to the point where this year, I think we're their only DH team. So they like putting their whole sports marketing budget into our team, which is cool that they believe in us that much.
That's awesome, yeah.
Fox suspension I've used since 2010, like every World Cup I've entered. I think I checked it after Troy did his 100th race, because we're the same age, because I never kept track of it. And I was like, I entered 94 World Cups myself. And all of those were with Fox suspension. I've ridden so many generations of their stuff, and they've helped me out so much. I've been involved with a lot of the testing for new products, and they currently like support our team with so much testing and support to get the best suspension setup that we can. So they're a huge performance partner of ours. And Envy Wheels has been something that we've been using for the past few years. They were sponsor of ASA's since he first started mountain biking. I think he actually won a set in a race and was riding them. They saw how good ASA was when he was 14 years old, and then started supporting him from there. And it was ASA that introduced me to Envy, and then they came on as a sponsor of our program. And they're all US made. They're very performance driven company. They do a lot of things with their wheels, like they use a rim strip over top of the bead of the rim and over the hook, which gives a seal to the tire that, for the reliability of racing, if you ever have an issue with a rim, you're going to maintain that tire seal the whole time.
Okay.
It also protects the wheel. Like I think last year we only had to change 3 or 4 rims for the whole season for the whole team, which is really cool to know that you have that reliability. Like when you come into a rock garden and know that you can hit it as hard as you want, you're going to ride it faster than when you have to be careful with the bike.
100%.
And Envy's a big part of that. New for this year, we're running the BergTech cockpit. So we use their seat post, stem, bar. Asa has some grips that he's working on with them too. So I don't know if we can say too much. And then on top of that, like when we sell our frames, we finish them with a seat post clamp, UDH, and rear axle. So those nice little finishing details are super cool. I really like the way that BergTech runs their company. They have a huge passion for downhill, and they're like perfect fit. Like I'll talk to Dan and I'm like, man, if I could like follow the ethics that you run your company with as I grow mine, that's where I'd love to be. And then Fox Clothing has been a sponsor of me for many years. I think it's like coming up on 10 years now. They're a sponsor of the team, sponsor of Asa and Anna personally. With Aaron, like that was something where a rider of his caliber, he had a gear deal that he wanted to put in place. But for as far as Frameworks Racing goes, Fox Clothing is a sponsor of the team and the riders on the team.
Yeah.
Faction Bike Studio, they help us with engineering support. Specialized still sponsors us for e-bikes, which is super cool. Yeah. They throw cash into the team and give us the e-bikes. They give each rider a couple of e-bikes to ride, and the e-bikes ride awesome. So it's cool to have that support from Specialized and seeing the value in the partnership of sponsoring another bike company.
Yeah, it's like, pretty random, that one, but it's cool that it works.
I pitched it to them and they could see it.
Yeah.
I guess they definitely don't feel threatened by us. And hopefully we bring them some clout, but they could have easily not wanted to do it. And it was really cool of them to like see that value. And then we delivered back with making videos of riding the e-bikes, promoting the e-bikes, where if they see that more people are influenced to buy that model of bike rather than just the entire brand, that's still a value to them and a cool industry partnership. We're sponsored by KMC Chains. They've been working awesome for us. A new one this year is the Tool Nut. They're an online tool store. The owner, Sean, is a huge fan of mountain biking, came out to the Lake Placid World Cup and saw everyone racing and reached out to me and asked if there was any way to be a partner with the team. So they're going to be supplying us with a bunch of tools. They sell like most name brand power tools, and they also sell some bike tools like Nipex and Wera that we use every day. So they're going to be running a few like sales throughout the year that we'll promote like after this race, probably when this podcast comes out. They're going to have like a week or two where anybody who buys something will get a chance to win one of Ace's signed jerseys. Nice. So if you buy a new set of tools, then that attached to that order, you'll have an entry to win the jersey. Stuff like that we'll be doing all year with them, showcasing like little hacks that we find using their tools that they sell. And it's an outside the industry sponsor, which is super cool. Everybody's looking for those, and this one's a perfect fit for us. Like, we're pretty blue collar. Most of the people on our team, we use these tools all the time, whether it's the power tools for like projects around the house or bike park or working on our bikes. Like, pretty much a day doesn't go by where we don't use this stuff, and most people that are fans of us probably the same way. So I think it's a natural fit. And then some other product sponsors that we're partnered with is O-Chain. We designed our bike around them. Crank Brothers pedals we've been using and are the preference for Asa and Anna. PD's Products is new. They're going to be helping us out with sealant this year.
Sweet.
So that was cool that Steve like reached out and wanted to work together with our team. E13, we use their chain guides. They've kind of been the benchmark for chain devices for the past 20 years. I remember using them when I started racing. And then Atlas Ride Co. still helping us out with lodging in the Alps. So we stay a few weeks every summer in Morzine, and they help us out with that.
Proper spot. Good
which
food.
Is a great spot. Yeah. Like, I love going there. I need to go there on like a real vacation. We're always there like at a race or between a race. But hopefully people listening to this would take advantage of taking a real vacation there, because it's in the best spot to ride.
It's pretty special, yeah.
And then the last partner that we have is Feedback Sports. They help us out with the bike stands that we use and the warm-up trainers. So
it's a big roster, eh?
It is. And like I said, like, I have to thank them all, because we wouldn't be able to have this team. We wouldn't be able to fund it and have the bike that's capable of winning without their performance and financial support.
Yeah, fair play for putting it all together, mate, because there's a lot of brands to manage and negotiations to have. It's a busy off season. Through all of that, once salaries are paid, have you got more money for the team this year, or have you just got a bigger team?
Our total budget is a lot higher, but we spend all of it. I feel like with a race team, like, the goal is to come out with zero money at the end and be as competitive as you possibly can be. Like, if you want to make money, don't start a race team.
Have you added any staff roles to the team? Like, have you got extra people that you want?
We have Aaron's mechanics, so we had to add mechanic positions, but not really any extra roles. I'd hope to be in a position, I could love to have someone helping on the physio side. Like, we got to be a little bit scrappy to do something like this, and like little help, like Ace's mom coming to the race and cooking is like, I can't afford to cook, but if she comes and helps out, then that makes it possible. So we're doing a lot with a little, and we have more time and energy than we have money to spend on the stuff. So it's everybody that works within the program going above and beyond that makes it possible.
Would you spend on a physio above more line people on track?
I think so. I think the riders that I have are pretty confident in their lines, and they can study a lot on GoPro. They can, I can be in the places that they want. So I think that, yeah, it's a tough question. Ideally, you'd have both.
Yeah,
you
of course.
If you're looking for, but I mean, with any team, like I said, you're trying to make every dollar go as far as it can and get the most performance with the budget you have. So, I can go on track. I can't give a massage. I don't think anybody would want that.
I mean, you could try, but
I think I'm more effective on the track. I don't think it might make it worse.
Let's talk a bit about you, because it's been a while now since you stepped away from racing World Cups. How do you feel about that?
I haven't really had time to think about it.
You've been pretty busy, yeah.
I see how competitive the racing is nowadays. Like, sometimes I see the guys that I used to race with going up for that Q2. And man, I used to feel like towards the end of my career that those quali days were so stressful. Because for me, like, racing was really fun 10 years ago when I felt like I was racing for positions that I was proud of. But in the past couple seasons when I was just racing to qualify, it was like, best case, this result's doing nothing for me. Like, it's from my own standard, like a pretty average, mediocre result. And then I feel embarrassed to not qualify at the races that you don't make it in. And I shouldn't. Like, it's so competitive that it's just, the bar is so high. And those guys that are making the cut are so good right now. They're such good riders that it is so tough. But yeah, I don't envy it being your job to make that final, because it's so hard. It's so competitive, and there's not that many spots.
And getting harder.
Oh yeah. I mean, this year you've got 5 juniors that should go through taking 5 of those spots.
Yeah.
So it's definitely not getting easier.
No, for sure. And I want to talk a bit about the commentary side of things. I saw you did a vital 17 questions recently, and you were talking about commentary in the past tense. Does that mean we won't hear you in the booth this year?
I haven't been asked to do it.
Okay.
So I enjoyed doing it. Like, I felt like Warner Brothers was very respectful of my time. The first time they asked me to do it, I said no. I said I didn't have enough time. I was like running this team and I don't have the time to put into it. And they're like, well, you only need to come in during the elite race. So I didn't have to go to any pre-meetings. I didn't have to spend a ton of extra time doing that job. And I felt like I was aware and educated enough on the subject to get in there and talk about it.
Done, yeah.
And what I felt my contribution is like an opinion on lines, riding technique, like an expert analysis of the racing, which was kind of second nature for me. Like, I can watch the video live and just say what I see. And I almost felt like I did better the less I thought about it. I was just like reacting to what I was seeing on the screen. But I enjoyed doing it. I would do it again.
Okay.
I haven't been asked to do it. I don't know what their strategy is going forward. I appreciate them asking me to do it and being able to. I wouldn't say I want to be a commentator as my career. I feel like there's a lot of pressure with that. Just to give each rider the respect they deserve, you should put a lot into it. So that was challenging. And yeah, I'm not sure if I'll do that again, but I would be fine with either way. I have enough going on that if I can not have that to do on race day and be at the finish line for Asa when he comes through, I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, fair play. Let's talk about frameworks, because you've very recently, in fact today, although this will go out in a few days' time, but you've just launched the updated bikes for 2026. Some fairly significant changes. The first of which, I guess, is the manufacturing location.
Yeah, we just launched these bikes today, and we're probably, when this podcast comes out, we'll be sold out. We're sold out of all the downhill bikes in the first 24 hours, and we've got a few enduro bikes.
You've got any mediums left?
I've got the one that you rode. So yeah, that just very, very thankful for everybody who took the risk to buy a bike and supported us. I believe that the product that we offer is worth the price that we charge for it. And like, if you're going to ride a new bike this year, ours is a great option. So this year, to be able to scale with the demand that we had in the past and offer a consistent product with the finished quality that we were looking for, we went to Genio in Taiwan to manufacture these front triangles. So the Genio and kinematics are really the same as we raced last year and offered for our production bikes. It was just that factory change that really, there was like a few manufacturing techniques that they had access to. The first being tubing. Like, I felt like we were getting to a point with designing our bikes and manufacturing our bikes in the US where we were designing around the processes that we had access to. And that was getting to a point that was limiting us from making an overall better product. And getting access to better tubes for this application was something that a factory like Genio had. So all the tubes we have now, they're still round tubes. The OD is the same, but they're internally butted, which reduces some of the gussets that we had required in the past. So the tube thickness is really thick around the ends where you need to weld it. So welding to the head tube, instead of having gussets over the top to add material, to add strength, you just have that internally in the tube that's like slowly tapered on to be thicker at the ends, which is like the smoother you can transition those thicknesses, the less stress risers you have. And the more welding also creates stress risers. So removing some welding just makes you have a product with less stress risers in the end. The top tubes tapered and butted, which allows it to be a little bit lower, gives a little bit lower standover, which is nice. And then we designed this hydroform seat tube that we're using. So instead of welding on a mount for the rocker pivot, it has a bump out in the frame, and it's like, for a DH bike, you need something that's pretty thick. There's like all the suspension points are mounted to that part. So that was like a cool thing that we could design a tube and have it made specific for our bike. And we still use like that BB part that captures 3 points, the BB, the main pivot, and the lower shock mount. But now it's designed in a clamshell design, completely hollow in the center and welded down the middle. And what's cool about this is the entire frame is CNC'd post welding and heat treat. So they put the entire front triangle in a CNC machine and they locate the points off of the BB.
So it's always perfect.
Everything's perfect. Yeah. All the bores are perfect. And there's not many, I don't think there's anywhere in the US that has the capability, but maybe they would have the capability, but no one makes bicycle frames that you can put an entire frame in a CNC machine and do all the finishes in one process. Not one process, but like one machine.
But it means your alignment's perfect, so your stiction in the rear end is like non-existent. It's super smooth.
It's really, I think, takes it up a notch. And then being able to brush the frames and clear coat them, having access to like guards that we created the design and mold for, like the down tube guard, the chainstay protector is all our proprietary stuff now, and then we own the molds for those parts. So just like the overall fit and finish, I think looks more like a production quality bike.
100%. When I saw them yesterday for the first time, I was pretty blown away by the difference, like aesthetically, from where you were a year ago to where you are now. Like, it looked like a bike that performs, but a little bit rough around the edges, sorry, to now something that looks like a production bike.
No, I totally
agree.
With that
performance, It looks,
it's still
great.
A Frameworks bike. But it's just like steps up
next level.
And something really cool as well is they're all in-house tested. So they have to pass like not only an ISO test, but a downhill in-house test that Genio has.
Okay.
Like, they warranty the frames to us. We warranty them to our customers.
Interesting.
So for them to offer us that warranty, they need to pass a pretty high-level test, because they don't want to give us any replacement frames. And they're not going to take that risk unless they know that these frames are up to par for what they see us doing with them. The guy that we deal with at Genio is a huge fan of downhill racing and rides downhill himself. So we couldn't really pull one over on him and ask him to warranty the frames that weren't strong enough, because he's watching what everything ASA does with them. So their test is like up to par with that. And like in the past, Factions helped us with testing to make sure that our design was strong enough, but we weren't able to do batch testing to make sure that like 1 out of each 100 is tested and 1 out of each size. So that's a big step up as well. It was definitely a big decision. Like, we'd built our whole brand around making them with Frank. Frank helped us so much from the beginning. Yeah. And it was like a hard thing to do to leave behind a guy that you have so much respect and loyalty for. But in the end, it was like, how can we offer the best overall product? Like, I wanted to make the best bike I could, not the best American made bike I could. Yeah. And in the end, Frank was like one part of a big process to make these things that we had to manage. We had to deal with 10 different suppliers. We had to organize a lot of the pieces of, whereas now we're working with professionals that do this on a much bigger scale, that can give us our finished product QC checked in a box ready to go, so that we can put our time into doing the stuff that we find we're more effective on, rather than
add more value,
managing a production to the nitty gritty details. Yeah. So I don't know if other people like running a business have been in that position before, where you have like one person that you are so loyal to and like really enjoy working with, but just don't fit into the greater, I guess, process that you're trying to run. So that was a tough one, because since I was a kid, like I looked up to Frank so much, and he's a legend, right? Helped. Like, we'd never been able, like, Frank didn't call me back when I called him, and like, I was just a downhill racer that wanted to make a frame and be able to take my crappy design that I did myself and make it into a rideable bike. Like, I'd never been able to start this project. So got so much respect for him. And yeah, it just made it hard to, like, considering all those things, make a move. But, you know, I'm sure we'll be working with Frank on like one-offs or any prototype stuff that we need in the future. He's always a resource for us. And I hope that, like, through all the exposure we brought him, like, at the time when we started this, we made a bunch of videos showing our bike development, and Frank was at the center of that. And I've seen him get more work because of that. So I hope that we kind of gave him more than just the jobs that he was doing for us. I'm sure, man. And you very kindly bought a medium enduro bike out for me to have a little play on, which I did this morning, and I scribbled down some notes. So I rode a different bike that I won't name earlier in the week, and struggled on the new terrain, admittedly probably a bit jet lagged, but new terrain bike that was set up pretty well, I think, but I just really struggled. I felt like I couldn't ride a bike anymore. I took the enduro bike up the hill today, and within seconds felt like a different person on the bike. Like, the level of confidence I had on the terrain was so much increased. Like, the pace I was going at compared to 2 days ago, and the conditions are pretty similar, probably a bit, like, almost a bit too dry now compared to 2 days ago, was like vastly increased. It was so easy to get on with. Like, I felt like I had very good confidence in front end grip, and I felt like front rear balance was really intuitive. Like, I wasn't moving around on the bike trying to find a balanced position. Like, I just stood in the middle of it and turned it, and it went. And I guess that, because you use a proportional chainstay, right, for the sizes, I guess that's helping. That slightly longer chainstay and proportional is probably what's helping that weight distribution thing a bit. I think so. I think you're looking at the, like, front center, rear center ratio is important to scale both, not necessarily completely proportionally, but just thinking about both numbers, and not just making the front end longer. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it was a well-refined bike at this point. I've ridden it for hundreds of hours. Have other guys riding the other sizes that I can't.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, it also felt really calm. I didn't think about this until afterwards, but I ride flat pedals, and it's some of the trails here are pretty bad, right? It's dry and hard packed, and you get some pretty significantly rough stuff, plus some sort of techie rock sections and stuff. And not once did I have to reposition my feet on the pedals all morning. And that's pretty rare and I was riding, for me, like pretty fast. And yeah, I didn't think about it at the time, but there's definitely a calmness through the rear end where I wasn't getting like skittered around on the pedals at all. And I'm on the same shoes and pedals that I ride all the time. Like I brought my pedals from home, so
cool. It
wasn't a pedal related thing. So yeah, if I had the money in the bank, I'd bite your hand off for it. Yeah, good effort, mate. It's a super good product.
Yeah, I think like a big goal of ours is that calmness. Like you'll feel inspired to push harder and go faster if you feel in control. And through both of our bikes, the downhill and the enduro bike, it's like putting you first in a geometry position where you feel like you're stable. Mm-hmm. And then with all the kinematics, so like the way the bike moves through the travel and the way that the suspension is leveraged, you feel stable.
Yeah.
So like having those two things are a priority for us, and like really wanted the bike to work better the faster you went. Like I find like the rider can work it around like the slower, techier stuff more, but you can't really do much to help a bike that doesn't feel stable at high speeds. And at least for the stuff that I like to ride and the intended purpose of our bikes, it's like going really fast and feeling in control is the, I guess, general goal.
Yeah. And I think people, like it's a race bred product, and people hear race bike and they think that that's going to be like stiff, hard to ride, only works at race pace. I'm not riding at the pace anywhere near the way you guys ride. And I didn't find that. Like I feel like whatever you've done to make it work for Asa and Aaron type ability translates to making my life easier as well.
Yeah, and I think there's just so much with suspension setup. Like, of course, we like tune the chassis to be predictable, as I said, and it's definitely on the stiffer side to create that predictability.
Yeah.
But then, like compared to, say you rode a downhill ski that was way too stiff, there's like not much you can do. Like that's going to beat you up all day. But with a shock and fork on a bike, you can adapt that to a different rider weight and a different rider speed to give you the comfort. So I think like one of the things that people that have bought our bikes have complimented us on is that we've done the homework on setup, and we offer a really good setup guide on our website. We have a PDF that we also email to anybody that's bought the bike. You can write us an email. Like people at the race come up and ask me, which is really cool to talk to them, not just about the shock that we've tuned to pair with the bike, but how to set up the fork. I'm happy to help talk to people about that. And like people have mentioned, like when I bought your bike, I just got an inside line. I didn't have to do all the testing to get my setup. I just did the setup that you suggested and like felt kind of what you felt today.
Well, yeah, Ancho didn't even ask me how much I weighed. He looked at me, put some settings on the bike, and I didn't change one click.
It's funny with that because it doesn't like always, it's hard to make those setup guides because like you go too low in pressure. Like I feel like it's one of those things again that's not always proportional. There's somewhat of like stuff doesn't work when you get to a certain range, and it's almost like if I looked at a person, I could get them better set up than if they just wrote me a message with their height and weight and speed. But that's kind of like what we try to incorporate with our setup. And we use like Fox helps us a lot with the setup application, which we can put a lot of data into to reference what we find in the field with like calculated information.
Yeah, so it like helps you build out the depth of that database.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like our settings are a really good starting point, I'd say.
Yeah.
Of course, you always fine tune them.
Of course.
But I think that's a big advantage for our bike is like, we're trying to be that top 1%, and like it's not a bike for everyone. It's a bike for people that want to go fast. And if you buy one of our bikes, we're going to put you in that place without you having to go out and figure it out.
Yeah. Awesome, man. What's next for frameworks then? You mentioned the dreaded 32-inch word.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a cool experiment to try it.
Do you think it's coming? I mean, it's clearly coming in cross country, and I've heard rumours of other non-XC bikes launching with 32-inch wheels on.
I don't know. I mean, the only one that I rode was an XC bike. It had really slick tires. Like, it looked like an inner tube with some knobs drawn on it. And I was blown away with the grip that I had.
Okay.
So it must be a bigger contact patch.
Yeah.
And it didn't really handle that weird either.
Okay.
So I don't know if it would work for, like, the longer travel obviously has so many challenges with clearance. So I'm not sure if it'll really come into downhill, but maybe some of those like shorter travel bikes, you could feel more stability without the travel giving it to you.
Yeah.
So that might be a thing, but yeah, it was cool to be able to try that sort of stuff with like making the Loctite bonded prototypes, and Faction Bike Studio wanting to gain that information as well. It's like a really cool partnership. Like, they want to learn. Obviously, we offer a ton of value at test riding it and telling them what we thought. So if we work together on that, and they make a bike that fits a 32-inch front wheel, could be, I mean, if nothing else, we're going to learn something.
Yeah, it's a good experiment for sure.
I think it's the hardest part is like creating an apples to apples experiment, because even if, like, I don't think we'll be able to match the performance of a 29-inch tire and wheel.
Yeah.
The fork's a big challenge. Fox is going to help us on that side.
Okay.
But even if we did apples to apples, like knowing how many spokes to run in the wheel, what spoke length, like maybe even if you match the stiffness, that's not getting the most out of it.
Yeah.
Like, when the first 29-inch bikes came out, I think they copied a lot of geometry from 26 and learned that wasn't right, and then had to adapt to their own setup. So it might be the same with that, to where like, yeah, you don't know until you spend hours and hours and years riding it what the best configuration.
Yeah, there's a lot of learning
for all that stuff is.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be hard to like ride it once, compare it to the 29er and say if it's better or worse.
Yeah.
But it'll be cool to ride it.
What about gearbox? Did you ever put one together?
We never did. Like, we have so many suspension points in that area that it'd be really hard to change our bike for it. We're also like really well supported by TRP, KMC. They make chains and drivetrains, so it would kind of be going against our team sponsors.
Yeah.
I would love to do it just as an experiment, but at the moment, like, if we have a certain budget to spend on performance and development, I think it can be like for what it would cost to make like a real gearbox, where like a gearbox bike where the kinematics are optimized around it, and it's like developed, not just rushed, but ride it, see how it feels, improve it to where like you're getting the most out of a gearbox bike. It would, for what that would cost, I think I could spend that money on something else that would give us more time on the track, which, like, if we're taking seconds off the rider's run, that was what we're looking for.
Yeah, makes total sense. I saw you with Fox recently in California, I think, and there was images of riders on like boxes with the rear wheel high and the front wheel and all sorts of weird stuff going on. Can you give us any insight into what that's all about?
I don't know how much I can say about that, but basically what we're trying to do is understand how their weight distribution into the front and rear of the bike is on different pitches of terrain, so that we can set the bike up better for the riders.
Interesting. Fancy new. I've never seen that done before. Has that been new this year for you guys?
We did it last year.
Okay.
And I did a bunch of test riding with their engineer, Keith, who came up with that. I don't want to say too much, but I did a bunch of riding myself to get them to the point where that calibration is accurate.
Okay.
So I think it'll benefit Fox on multiple levels in the future, and is definitely like gives us a little advantage on our team with using that info to do some calculations for the riders.
Mysterious. I like it. We'll find out more in the coming years and months. No
I
doubt,
just don't know like how much I actually can say about it, and probably
it's totally
like
fair,
saying
mate.
it on a podcast is not the spot.
It's not the one to, not the one to let it go. Well, it's been awesome to spend some time on the bike today, mate. Thanks for bringing that out. It was a lot of fun.
It's cool for you to ride, because the last time you rode was the first bike I made back 4 years ago.
Well, no, I had like some horrific wet laps in Lunenville on the original Enduro bike. It was the last time I rode a Frameworks. The bike was great. The conditions were disgusting. Today it was a lot better.
Yeah.
But I've not ridden the downhill bike since the original one. So one day I'll
just take this one out.
Rip the Ace of a Met sticker off it.
Yeah, I mean, we've sold out now, so job's done. Like, he doesn't need to race.
Yeah, I love that.
He only races so he can sell stuff.
He's done his job. Good stuff, mate. Well, it's been a pleasure. I need to let you get on for some dinner. If people want to find out like more about the bikes and to follow the team, give us some links.
Yeah, so Frameworks Racing on social media. You can follow us there. We try to give like a real perspective on what we're doing. YouTube, Frameworks Bicycles, we put out videos throughout the season. We're going to try to get back to doing more of that. I felt pretty like we did some cool stuff when we started the project 4 years ago, and then like had a lot on my plate and responsibility for riders like Asa joining the team, and wasn't able to do as much video stuff, but I think we're going to be able to do more of that through the season. And then our website it's Frameworks Bicycles.
Okay, I'll check and stick it in the show notes, mate.
Okay, put the website on. I'm like, Logan's the website guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you check our website, and we also, like, for people that are interested in the frame side of things, we have a newsletter that me and Logan write them all, and we're not spamming the followers of the newsletter, but we either send out like a race report, which is pretty cool. Like we're going to try this year to like send more kind of behind the scenes info.
Nice.
Or updates on bikes that we're planning on developing and selling. So the newsletter is actually a really cool way to follow the team. If you sign up for that, it's like free. And like I said, we're not going to just spam you with sales stuff. We don't have time to do that.
And for all of us that missed these first batches, when's the next batches of enduro and downhill frames? Is that planned in yet, or is that still to be worked on?
Yeah, probably later this year.
Okay.
I'm trying to time that stuff. Like, on the sales side of things, I have so much to learn. Like, I feel like we made a good product and we have a really good brand image. Not to pat myself on the back, but I think that we did those things well.
Yeah.
But sales and distribution and conversion of sales is like, it went really well today. We didn't order a ton of frames. Like, we ordered 150 frames. We needed probably 25 of those for the race team, and we sold through the rest of them pretty quickly, which is, compared to some of the bigger brands, like obviously way less. But to grow that, like, there's a lot to that conversion, and like the timing of the bike release is really important.
Yeah.
You're doing it at a time of year when people are interested in bikes, and then also like more than just that, as a broad sense, for our customers are generally racers. So getting them their bike early enough that they can get it ahead of the race season.
Yeah.
So it's not as simple as just like, all right, let's order another one and get it at the wrong time of year. It's like making sure that that comes at the right time for our cash flow. Because Logan and I have done this all ourselves. Like, we don't have any loans or don't have like any debt, really. We don't have any money, but we don't have any debt, which is good. And I think that organic growth is important. So I really appreciate everyone that bought one of the frames in our launch today, because we put a lot of our own skin out there, and it was like, felt pretty real life to like, we thought we were taking an educated risk on that, or a calculated risk, but to see it kind of come through and pay off was like a big relief. So.
Yeah, I'm stoked for you, mate. You deserve it. You put a lot of graft into these things, and you do a great job, and I know the fans love it, so keep doing what you're doing, man.
Well, I love doing it, so I do it anyway.
Happy days.
Cheers.
Thanks, Neko.
Yeah, thanks.